Conspiracy theory? I think not. Yo guys, it is Amazon here, and today we're looking at conspiracy theories, but hang on a second, they turned out to be true. I know, very scary, and before I start this, the link will be in the description down below, and you haven't really got anything Christmassy, so just hang on a second. Alright, well, you know, I've got something Christmas related, guys. See this? Father Christmas. It says how many days are till Christmas. Isn't that just amazing, you know? It's even got a bell thing. Go like that and ring. Be like, Santa's coming? No? No. Okay. Alright, let's just get straight into it, you know? Bam.
By now, we've all heard some crazy conspiracy stories.
Yes.
Everything from the government is trying to control your thoughts through flu shots, to Big Brother is able to hear everything that you do through your cell phone.
What?
But how many of these conspiracy theories are true? Well, surprisingly, more than you might think. If you're one of those people who thinks that the government or some other organization is trying to control you,
100%.
persuade you, or maybe even kill you, you may not be that far off from the truth. Believe it or not, some of the crazy claims and paranoid conspiracy theories that have been made by some people have actually, over time, been proven to be 100% accurate. Confirmed by institutions that sought justice, or individuals just searching for the truth. Some of these stories may make you think twice. So get your tinfoil hat ready, because here are 10 conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. Part 2. Number 1 is the Operation Northwoods conspiracy. Many people are distrusting of their government, believing that they sometimes carry out secret operations under the guise of being the target of an attack, when in reality they're the ones that are deceiving the masses to further their own ulterior motives. Known as false flag operations, in 1962, one was proven to be true. Operation Northwoods was a proposition by the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Department of Defense that outlined a plan to incite war between the US and Cuba. The operation called for the CIA themselves to perform acts of terrorism against their own American citizens, blaming Cuba and its communist leader Fidel Castro. Suggested methods of terrorism included shootings in major cities, hijacking planes, blowing up American ships near Guantanamo Bay, and sinking refugee boats leaving Cuba. This disturbing plan was presented to President John F. Kennedy, who outright rejected it, and even removed the chair of the Joint Chiefs from his position. However, some have taken it even further, believing that Kennedy's unwillingness to carry out such operations was one of the reasons behind his assassination. Number 2 is the Operation Paperclip conspiracy. After World War II, there were whispers that the government was looking the other way and hiring Nazis to work within the ranks of their own government. And while many brushed this off as crazy, as it turns out, it wasn't. In 1945, the United States Office of Strategic Services and the Joint Intelligence Objectives Agency, or JIOA, began recruiting captured German scientists, engineers, and technicians. Codenamed Operation Paperclip, it succeeded in hiring upwards of 1,500 Germans, the goal of which was to prevent the Soviet Union and the UK from gaining their expertise, as well as to hinder Germany's military research progress. Now, publicly, President Harry Truman approved the program so long as no former Nazis were recruited. However, those restrictions proved to have rendered ineligible most of the leading scientists from whom the JIOA had identified for recruitment. So, their solution? Create false identities for these ex-Nazis and recruit them into the ranks of their own government. Number 3 is the Gulf of Tonkin conspiracy. As many as 42 false flag operations have been admitted by governmental organizations up to this day, and the Gulf of Tonkin incident is yet another example. On August 2nd, 1964, a U.S. destroyer ship named the USS Maddox was reported to have been attacked by 3 North Vietnamese torpedo boats. The attack occurred off the coast of Vietnam in an area known as the Gulf of Tonkin. The USS Maddox engaged in battle and defeated the torpedo boats, killing 4 and injuring 6 Vietnamese crewmen. Further escalating things, just 2 days later, a second attack occurred in the same area. These events became the precursor to the Vietnam War, except that neither of them ever really happened. Years later, declassified reports were released that not only did American ships fire at absolute absolutely nothing, but the second battle with the Vietnamese was reported with the sole purpose to escalate
Wait, this is a good video.
It was discovered that the government staged the entire event as an excuse to enter Vietnam and kill as many communists as possible. This false flag operation may have claimed as many as 211,000 Americans' lives within the Vietnam War. Number 4 is the COINTELPRO conspiracy. COINTELPRO, which stands for Counterintelligence Program, was a secret espionage operation by the FBI that investigated any groups or persons who threatened the authority of the US government. The program started in August of 1956 and focused on groups like the Civil Rights Movement, Vietnam War protesters, the Black Power movement, and feminists. Targeted group members would receive anonymous phone calls or documents with incriminating information on their peers. Some would even be wiretapped and some were audited. Even powerful targets were affected, including Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. But what's most scary about this program is that it would have continued indefinitely, except that in 1971, documents exposing it were stolen and given to the media, after which it scaled back its operations. However, notice that I said scaled back, not ended. There are rumors that versions of this program continue today under the guise of anti-terrorism measures. Imagine how much easier it is for the government to do this now with everyone openly transmitting information via cell phone. Number 5 is the Operation Mockingbird conspiracy. Many Americans believe that the media continues to be heavily influenced to present the views of a small group of people, and they just might be right. Operation Mockingbird was a CIA effort to control major American media outlets between the 1950s and 1970s. The program was started by Frank Wisner, director of plans for the CIA, and in 1947, he began recruiting leading American journalists into a propaganda network to help present the CIA's views to the masses. Head journalists at the New York Times, CBS, and Newsweek were recruited through both bribes and being put on the payroll. By 1953, Mockingbird had journalists at 25 different news agencies and was finally taken over by CIA Director Alan Dulles. While it was active, Mockingbird managed to ruin the careers of the CIA's political opponents, spy on other journalists, censor damaging reports, and promote the fight against communism. It was officially ended in 1976, but many of the CIA's news media relationships have remained in...
Hold on. Guys, the government is spying on us. The Emoji Movie, the government was spying on that as well, guys. I don't know what to do, you know. Guys, I need to just cut it, you know, cut it. God darn it. God darn it. The government. Goddamn government. Oh, Jesus. They're watching us. They're watching us. They are watching us, man. If you watch me, government, why? Why are you watching me, huh? You know what? You know what? It's fine. I'm okay, guys. Don't worry. Let's just put it back to place. Okay, you know? We're chill. We are chill. Let's get back into it.
Intact even to this day. Number 6 is the Watergate conspiracy. The Watergate scandal is the name of the infamous political conspiracy that was uncovered in 1973 and even forced President Nixon to resign. On June 17th, 1972, a security guard caught 5 burglars at the Watergate complex in Washington, D.C., where the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee were located. Unbeknownst to the public, the burglars were actually sent by Nixon's administration to repair some wiretap devices that they had planted in an earlier break-in. After the release of multiple tapes incriminating Nixon, he was forced to hand over office and nearly got him impeached before he decided to quit himself. Ultimately, he was pardoned by President Gerald Ford in September of 1974, but 48 of his top employees weren't so lucky and received jail time for their involvement. Number 7 is the North Korea kidnapping conspiracy. Many citizens of various nations nations around the world are skeptical of their governments, and North Korea is certainly no exception. Between 1977 and 1983, Japanese citizens began mysteriously disappearing from the Japanese west coast around the city of Niigata. Although there were whispers that the North Korean government was involved, they adamantly denied any involvement. However, it was later discovered that the North Korean government actually kidnapped and imprisoned as many as 13 Japanese citizens. However, Japan claims that the number is actually 17, but according to records of Japanese disappearances in towns near the coast, the number could very well be in the hundreds. And unbelievably, this theory was actually confirmed by former North Korean Supreme Leader Kim Jong-il in 2002. The official reasons behind the random abductions are still unknown to this day, but some theorists believe that they were used to give identities to Korean spies or to teach them Japanese. Number 8 is the Nayara testimony conspiracy. On October 10th, 1990, Nayara El-Sabah, a 15-year-old girl, gave a touching testimony to the Congressional Human Rights Caucus in which she emotionally described atrocities that were committed by Iraqi soldiers. She testified to a story of soldiers committing horrendous acts to young citizens in the Al Adan hospital where she volunteered. This story not only helped sway public opinion towards favoring helping Kuwait in the Gulf War, but it was used by the United States senators as well as President H.W. Bush as support for their involvement in the war. Originally, she had only given her first name in her testimony. However, in 1992, her last name was released and she was exposed as the daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador to the U.S. Her testimony was ultimately exposed as a lie conceived by the Citizens for a Free Kuwait and produced by the American Public Relations Agency Hill and Knowlton. Number 9 is the Prohibition Conspiracy. The American prohibition on alcoholic beverages, which lasted from 1920 to 1933, held some dark secrets involving the U.S. government and the poisoning of booze supplies. After Prohibition began, people took to redistilling industrial-grade alcohol to make it drinkable. To combat this, the government began adding several poisonous chemicals to alcohol to prevent them from drinking it. And boy, did it work. In fact, it worked so well that it may have led to upwards of 10,000 poisoning deaths of illegal alcohol-consuming Americans. The government had completely failed in their effort to discourage drinkers and instead wound up killing thousands of their own people. This shocking revelation was discovered by Professor Deborah Plum in her research for a book about poison and was released immediately to the media. And number 10 is the Big Brother conspiracy. Being watched by the government is no longer just a theory. It has been openly revealed that government institutions around the world have been utilizing top secret programs as well as software to monitor and access your private data. Programs have been discovered like PRISM, which allow the U.S. National Security Agency, or NSA, to collect your data from internet companies such as Google, Facebook, and Apple without your consent. But one scary piece of software called X-Keyscore collects private data on a global scale every single day and is shared amongst other countries such as Canada, Australia, Britain, New Zealand, and Germany. And it wasn't even until recently in 2013 that the existence of these civilian surveillance programs was leaked through documents downloaded by Edward Snowden, a former CIA and NSA employee. Literally every single thing you do on your home computer or mobile phone can and is being documented by the government, and private browsers do not help. So, those were 10 conspiracy theories that turned out to be true, part 2. Next time someone tells you a conspiracy theory, remember to keep an open mind, because now you know that anything is possible. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to my channel, because I release new videos Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. If you want to watch more, you can press or click either of the 2 video thumbnails that you see on your screen right now, and don't forget to check out my second channel, the link to which is in the description. Have a great day, and I will see you on Thursday. Take care.
I will take care. Okay, guys, well, that's the end of that part, but guys, what you need to do, guys, you need to, like he said, subscribe to my channel, check out my second channel that doesn't even exist, and like this video, comment, do whatever you want, and just, you know, guys, take care, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.